Welcome to No BS, the gaming news podcast where we ditch the sugarcoating and give it to you straight. I'm Blake,
And I'm Steve.
and if you're looking for real talk without the BS, you've come to the right place. Before we jump in, don't forget to stay connected with us. Follow us on X at No BS Podcast GG for all the latest updates and hot takes. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel, No BS Podcast GG, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Love what you're hearing? Show your support by liking this episode, dropping a comment with your thoughts, and subscribing to keep up with all our future content. Your engagement helps us bring more of the no BS talk you love. All right, let's cut through the BS and get in today's episode. I want to say welcome everyone to our second episode, and man, do we have some good stuff to go over for this week. Before we dive into everything, Steve, what games have you been playing recently, and is there anything you can recommend to our listeners to check out?
I've been kind of all over the place, but recently I really got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know we were playing some games yesterday,
I won a game.
and it's I don't know, it's just so much fun. I haven't played any ranked matches or matches against random people, just really just playing against friends and just enjoying seeing all the new cards and reading what everything does and getting a chance to kind of relive some of my childhood because I was a very avid Yu-Gi-Oh player growing up and seeing how far the game has developed, it's crazy. What about
Well,
you? What are you
I was
playing?
gonna say you're pretty big into like the card games. I know I see you playing Hearthstone pretty often. I know that's kind of you're really big into that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love card games. It's I don't know, it's just one of those things where like I said, I played Yu-Gi-Oh growing up and I played it all through middle school and all through high school, and it's just something I've always enjoyed. I love strategy games and recently kind of picked up Balatro as well, which is like a roguelike poker game, which it's incredible. It's the amount of time it's a time sucker. Like you just start playing it and you don't realize how much time you spent on it. I was playing it last night and without even realizing it, it was 5 hours into
Gosh.
into the game, and it's just I just kept going run after run after run after run, and it's just didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I think those games are the best. You kind of get lost in the time, but then they're also scary because, like you said before, you know it, you're sitting there for 5 hours, like, oh my god, where'd the time
Yeah,
go? Yeah, I kind
yeah,
of wish
yeah.
that they'd make like a Pokemon game more, or like a more like the card game. I wish they'd be a more popular Pokemon game available on Steam. But for me, man, with the was it Fortnite just put out their new season, so I've been playing quite a bit of that, and then as well, I made sure with MOP or not MOP, World of Warcraft new expansion coming out. I've made sure to get all my characters leveled up through MOP remix. I'm just kind of playing those, getting ready for the new expansion.
Nice, nice.
Nothing really I can really recommend as of now. I mean, those are pretty much the only two games I played. So if you haven't played the new Fortnite season, I highly recommend you hop into that. It's a lot better than the previous one. So to hop into that, like I said, the Chapter 5 season 4 just got released. It is a Marvel focused theme, and I'm super excited about some of the changes that were made. Some of the big ones that I was most excited about were there's no more mythic cars, no more car upgrades like the turrets, the bulletproof tires, the uh, the grill guards, the cow catcher, nitro fist being gone, and if you play enough of it, you were very happy to see that the magneto gloves are gone and hopefully never making a return. Some notable characters that are actually going to be available to be played throughout this season are Doctor Doom, War Machine, and Mysterio. And with these new characters, there are some new weapons too. You got a jetpack. You got Doom's arcane gauntlets, which are like fists that shoot rockets, and it has a minigun. You have Captain America's shield, and they've also introduced a new loot chest in the game called the Avengers chest. I did notice, like, I logged in first thing in the morning when it came up at about like 4:30 a.m. EST, and within like the first hour or two, the game had over a million plus players, with the majority seeming to be playing the build mode of Battle Royale. So I know you've played a little bit of Fortnite. Are there any characters that you kind of hope they introduce with it? You know, being Marvel, or maybe characters in general you wish they'd kind of put into Fortnite now?
Yeah, so I'm not like a huge Fortnite player. I'm a very casual Fortnite enjoyer. I'm one of those people that tends to come back based on what skins are in the shop or what's
Yeah.
on the battle pass. I think the last time I got sucked into playing Fortnite was the Peter Griffin skin on the battle pass and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
For me, at least from what I've seen, I'm not crazy excited about what's been released. I think Mysterio looks pretty cool. The supernatural Mysterio in general is pretty sick. I really like the Iron Patriot, but it's not gonna make me go out of my way to buy the battle pass and then level it up. I just don't enjoy the whole battle royale aspect of the game as much anymore.
Yeah,
If
well,
I'm
with
pl-
sorry, here, go ahead.
No, if I'm playing like one of those games, it tends to be like playing with friends. But there's just so many other games that I enjoy playing with friends and Fortnite.
All I do want to mention though that this battle pass is a lot better than season 3. And like I said, a lot of people they were there was a big outcry about the past season with it was a whole car meta, and they lost like 20 to 30% of their player base because nobody wanted to play it. So I think that this new season is kind of a move in the right direction. I mean, there are still a lot of complaints that people just miss the old, run and gun kind of Fortnite. But I think with a game that's been out as long as it has been, they definitely need ways of making it, more interesting and drawing in a newer crowd. I also wanted to mention if you do want to see a full weapon list and all the map changes, you can check them out at polygon.com.
Yeah, and in a sense, I think what draws a lot of people to Fortnite over other battle royales is the collabs that they do. So I think this is going to be a big help for them, especially because, like you said, the Fortnite player base has been trending downwards. I think it's the lowest it's been in over a year. I'm not 100% sure how the meta was or what was going on last year in 2023 in Fortnite, um, but it kind of had a little bit of a spike, and I'm guessing that that's around the time Lego and Summer Jam Fest was introduced, and then it's
Yeah.
just kind of been on the downtrend since then. I mean, Marvel is huge, it's a humongous IP, and they have so many different people that they can pull or characters that they can pull from. So you could see some pretty interesting characters. I think there's already been a lot of Marvel skins that have been released, and I know Disney and Fortnite just signed this humongous deal together. So I know some people were talking about seeing like Disney princesses and other
Oh
big
my
Disney
god,
characters.
could you imagine an Elsa flying around?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would go. It would go crazy in a sense that like the largest player base for Fortnite are kids. Like my little
Yeah.
brother loves Fortnite. He spends hours and hours on Fortnite just doing not even playing the main game, but playing all the extra games that are within Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's like now you're introducing all these characters that they kind of grew up on. It's I just think it's gonna go insane. It has the potential to go insane again.
Yeah, see, I really hope. You mean they've collabed with, like you said, some big movies and stuff like that. We got John Wick, Star Wars. There's a lot. There's a lot that I wish that they'd bring in. Like I know there's a lot of people hoping for a Simpsons. I think King of the Hill, and then with the whole Disney thing, I'm really hoping they bring in Monsters Inc. Because if I were to be able to play Sully or Mike Wazowski, I that's I mean those are skins I think that would definitely be purchased in large quantities.
Yeah, or like the Incredibles, and then
Yeah.
having the ability to maybe do like a Lightning McQueen skin for your car, I think would be pretty cool.
Oh, actually, I didn't even think
I
about that. Nader. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
no,
would
I
be really
was
cool.
when the racing version of the game was first released, I was a big fan of it, and I was kind of grinding it, and just lost all sense of time just playing that game.
Yeah,
Super fun.
it's pretty fun. So on to our next segment. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 campaign has been leaked. According to InsiderGaming.com, hundreds of players have already gained. They actually already gained access to Black Ops 6 via jailbroken PS4 consoles and actually uploaded the content online. And that actually kind of surprised me because usually when you hear about these leaks and stuff like that, it's usually from PC gamers. So to see that on PS4 was kind of surprising. And with the campaign being leaked, I guess the entire beta build had actually been leaked as well, and as well as the achievements. And I mean, it sucks to see. I'm sure for them, it sucks to see all their hard work leaked. But to be honest with you, every year Call of Duty seems to be kind of putting out the same lackluster game. It just seems kind of like a copy and paste, at this premium price. So like, unless it's like they do something huge with it, I mean, I wasn't like super excited. I didn't rush to go see the leaks. I just don't think that Call of Duty is really one of those games anymore to get super excited about.
Well, you saw they did a pretty decent amount of damage control when the leak was discovered. They released a video almost immediately after, and they kind of discussed some of the new additions that they're adding to Call of Duty. I don't know if you got a chance to see that, but they're introducing at least the key takeaways that I saw. It's like they're introducing this new type of movement called the Omni movement, and it's basically allowing you to sprint and dive in any direction and kind of just
Oh my god, are you
move in all of
serious?
these. Yeah, people were excited because I think that's one of the things that differentiates Call of Duty from some of the other battle royales is the whole movement aspect. I think you get a lot of the the movement sweats, I guess you
Yeah, I
can
mean, don't you
call
remember
them.
snaking?
I didn't play Call of Duty as much.
Oh, dude, there was a
Uh,
huge outcry about people like these. I don't want to call them not cheats, but like people were making themselves get in, pretty much exploiting the movement and able to snake their bodies around. Like there's like a huge thing about it. People were like really upset. They're like, why can't we just have a normal, again, run and gun? That's what Call of Duty has been a run and gun, shooter. Why do we need to
yeah,
implement, all this stupid stuff? It's not the game that everybody likes playing. But I mean, I guess it's kind of like the Fortnite where the game's been around for so long. I mean, it's been out since like 2005, you know, so they have to come up with a way to make it, attracted to the younger generation.
yeah. You have to innovate and you have to continue to add new things. Otherwise, like you said, it's just going to be a copy paste of the previous game. Like maybe they implement some new guns and all that, but for the
Yeah.
most part, like all the reactions and reviews I saw going over the new type of gameplays seems pretty positive. There is one thing that I thought was pretty cool is they're adding something called like movement assist.
Yeah.
So it's allowing your gun to kind of track a little bit more realistically with the way your body is turning.
That's
So
cool.
if you're kind of clearing a room per se, your gun automatically starts turning with
Like a
you
like a
versus
sway kind of thing.
yeah,
Okay.
versus like how previously you would have to move your right stick, left stick,
Yeah, it was
or
very
mouse.
static.
Yeah, yeah, and now it's supposed to be a lot more realistic.
Oh, okay. So I didn't want to mention Activision actually seems to be in the spotlight quite a bit. They sent a cease and desist to High Moon Studios, and this is coming after big talk from the studio, which they've actually been talking about since July of last year. Actually, I'm sorry, July of 2023, about their release of a new MW2 mod that was actually supposed to release the day after they ended up getting the cease and desist. So they had a release date, and then Activision actually sent out the cease and desist the day before that. So High Moon Studios stopped all operations. And in my opinion, it seemed kind of sketchy of Activision to send this the day before the planned release, especially considered said it's been known since July 2023, and they recently put their Call of Duty game on sale, knowing that there was this huge hype around this mod. It's like, why not? If the news of this mod has been around for quite some time, like, why send the cease and desist now? Why not send it when you first heard about it? Because it kind of just seemed like a huge money grab. Let's profit off the hype of this stuff and then just shut this company down, And then it's like modding has been a huge part of the gaming community. And I mean, almost pretty much every popular game nowadays has a modding community. You know, most notably GTA, Skyrim, Minecraft, and Fortnite. I mean, even again, World of Warcraft. You got you said private servers, and it's like these mods within these games are a good way for these older games to to bring new skin into their game and keep it relevant.
Yeah, and I would say it's different when like the developers H2M, they were basically saying it's required to purchase the game. They weren't giving you a free alternative to play the game.
Yeah,
Um, it definitely did leave a bad taste in the consumer's mouth because a lot of people, they purchased the game, like you said, ready to play the old school version of Call of Duty, because when Activision re-released Modern Warfare 2, they released it without the multiplayer. And I mean,
yeah,
realistically, the majority of people that played Modern Warfare 2 was because of the multiplayer. Like, yeah, the campaign was fun, but I mean, the multiplayer was just on a whole nother level. And it's one of those things, like you mentioned, modding has been such a big part of the gaming community. And uh, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the big developers with Treyarch a while back, and he recently left to start his own thing. But he was kind of speaking on how when they started Treyarch, they all started off as modders, and
yeah,
that was their background. They were modding video games, and then it kind of just developed into building Call of Duty. Some of the biggest games around now originally started as mods, with CS:GO being a mod to Half-Life, League
yeah,
of Legends being a mod to Dota, Dota being a mod to Warcraft 3. It's like one of those things. Modding is part of gaming. And yeah, it sucks to it makes sense if they're giving the consumer a free version of the game, but when you're requiring them to purchase your game, not
yeah.
really taking anything away from it, like, it doesn't make sense. There was some sentiment around that they didn't want this to hurt their Black Ops 6 sales.
Which it is, which is going to. I know. There's been the gaming community. It's all over the place talking about how they want to boycott Black Ops 6 because of this.
Well, no, I meant like, say this mod was just, if this mod got more hype than Black Ops 6, with Black Ops 6 releasing fairly soon, I think they wanted to kind of try and keep it under wraps and not let people basically decide to play Modern Warfare 2 instead of playing Black Ops 6. But yeah,
Yeah,
like you said,
yeah,
this
but they should have done it.
it's
They should have sent the cease and desist a year ago, months ago. Why wait till the day before they're supposed to release
yeah,
it? You know.
there could be some legal things, and maybe they had to wait a certain amount of time. Like, who knows? Yeah, it's very sketchy that they did that. I think the worst part is that they put the game on sale before,
Yeah,
in
knowing
hopes
knowing
of it.
people are gonna be buying it.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like the negative publicity that Activision is getting probably didn't make sense for them, especially because Activision Blizzard, I mean, now it's Microsoft. They've been they've just been train wrecks for the last couple of years with
Yeah,
the sexual assaults going on in Blizzard and Overwatch and World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, all sorts of things. It's crazy to see how they were on top of the world. Similar to last week when we were talking about Bungie, it's like you see all these big game developers that are struggling to keep up with smaller corporations now.
yeah. Well, like I know, like the whole sexual assault with Blizzard and all that was super huge. It's something that needs to be taken very seriously. But um, it seems now that a lot of these companies are going super woke with this stuff too. Like after all that happened, it Activision put out this whole with all their games. It was like a contract that you signed every time you played the game, saying you're not gonna trash talk or use vulgar language. Is kind of a way to say, oh hey, yeah, we're doing something about this. And it's like they're suspending people's accounts for saying bad or trash or terrible. And if you've been playing games as long as we have, and even before us, trash talk has been around for the longest time, and it's like this whole woke thing is kind of ridiculous. And speaking of woke,
I
uh,
mean,
oh,
sorry to interrupt. I'm actually not opposed to them being a lot stricter on that end because yes, it is one of those things like we kind of grew up on the whole toxic nature of gaming,
yeah,
but I do think like some of like a lot of people they play games to have fun and to kind of escape from the world and reality.
yeah, but that's why
And
you have a mute button. But at the same time, man, there's a
but
difference between hey, you're trash, or throwing slurs out at somebody.
I mean, again, it's one of those things. It's like you play games to have fun, and I think companies trying to crack down on people talking trash is fine. I'm not necessarily opposed to
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that.
I get
I
both
know
sides to it.
I know you get banned fairly regularly for
I'm
talking trash, so that's probably
Well,
why
no,
it's
let me clarify that before, because you're gonna make it sound like I'm using slurs at people. I was banned for telling somebody that they were cringe for asking for a carry in a game. So that I don't think warrants a ban, but that's not my decision to make. And most of the time when you play these games, you're every time you load in, you're agreeing to their terms of use and stuff like that. So but yeah, I mean, I've just been a very competitive person, even like playing baseball when I was younger. Dude, me and Brett, me and my twin brother Brett, super competitive with each other. Used to trash talk each other, and we were on the same freaking team. I don't I don't take it to that next level, but I think I mean, okay, are you gonna let's just use this in sports. Are you gonna start suspending players for trash talking on the in an NFL game? You're gonna suspend the linemen for trash talking each other while they're there. It's one thing again to say slurs, but to the competitive banter, I think it's not going anywhere, and I just think that it's been an attempt to appear like they really care. Uh, so, and yeah, I mean, we can go on this subject forever, but I'm gonna kind of to move forward. Speaking about woke culture, want to talk about Suicide Squad killed the Justice League game. Uh, Bound into Comics reported that they actually had a 41% loss in video game revenue due to the release of it, and that can actually be confirmed in Disney's latest earning reports as well. Mr. Freeze is now Mrs. Freeze, who also happens to be a lesbian. And this is, again, in a way that seems to appease this woke culture. The game was actually written, the script and storyline was written by a company called Sweet Baby Inc., and they're actually known for trying to implement woke culture into games they touch. And they have quickly become a meme amongst the gaming communities. And there's a few games that the community have agreed upon that have been ruined by this whole woke culture, and some of them include Alan Wake 2, Forspoken, and Spider-Man 2. So, like, what's your opinion on this whole woke culture making its way to video games?
it's so weird. Like you said, it's different when it's kind of natural. I don't mind things being there. Like Overwatch, one of the biggest characters in the game is LGBTQ with Tracer, but it's not thrown in your face. Like
Wait, wait,
you're
wait, wait.
not made it.
Tracer's lesbian?
Yeah.
No. Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean,
But again,
I
it's
thought
like one of those
Zarya
things.
was, but I didn't know that Tracer.
I mean, Zarya might be as well, but I know
Oh,
Tracer in the lore and everything. It's pretty. It's like well known that she's part of the LGBTQ. But again, it's like it's not thrown in your face. Like
yeah.
you don't know it unless you look into it or you
You had
see
to
what's
go
going
looking
on.
for it to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I don't like it. I hate when it's kind of thrown into your face. I hate when there's race swaps and gender swaps. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. It's especially a game like this that was so promising when it was announced. I thought it was going to be a super fun live service game that was going to be competing against Destiny. It's the
Yeah.
same premise where it's like it's basically almost like a looter shooter made by Rocksteady, who made Batman. One of the Arkham series was they were so fun. They were so the combat was exciting, and the game itself does stuff that's really fun. Like the combat is fun, the movement is fun.
Yeah.
It's just the story and everything else that's thrown at you is just blah.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of getting tired of like all these companies trying to be politically correct now. It just seems like now games on top of movies are all being changed to appease and appeal to these certain demographics in an attempt to appear woke, like like they care. And I think it's doing nothing but harming the industry because I mean, it's again these games and even a lot of these movies are becoming memes and again, it just seems like it's just all in an attempt to save face and be like, oh yeah, we care, we care about all this stuff. And reality, I think that they could give two craps about those communities, but
And you're
that
starting to see it kind of backfire, like you said, with this game specifically. They've lost so much money. It's already kind of a known fact that the game is going to die after the updates that they're basically saying this is it. It's some of the developers have already left the game. I think the some of the main guys that were involved with making this game have left and started working on different projects. Again, you see it over and over again, and Concord is another example of this. I it's a hero shooter, but they're making the characters look different, and
yeah,
that's their whole thing. Is they want the characters to be like your average person is, I guess, what they're trying to say. And again, you're playing a hero shooter. You don't want to play as an average person. You want to play as a hero.
yeah. Oh, gosh, well, yeah, we can go talk about this for an hour, so I'm just gonna kind of move on. So World of Warcraft. I know I feel like we hit on this game quite a bit. There's talk of possible new Drakthir classes, and those unfamiliar with World of Warcraft, Drakthir is the latest or newest race that's been introduced with the Dragonflight expansion. It's a dragon. If you know what a worgen is, you have the wolf form and human form. Well, now this is dragon form, human form, and they're talking about new possible classes coming to the Drakthir race. And if you don't know what a class is, those are your priest, warrior, hunter. And I'm actually kind of happy to see that. I actually wish that they had more races and more classes because I mean you see games like Overwatch and League of Legends and all this stuff. It's like you have to spice it up. You need more playable characters. I think we got the same. We've had the same freaking classes and races for the longest time. I think like we need some more. You know.
Yeah, I thought the release of Draktyr, the class, the race itself looks super cool. You're a dragon, but
Yeah.
again, similar to Worgen, it's like Worgen, you're able to play all these different classes versus Draktyr. You
You
kind
got
of
one
yeah,
evoker.
you were
Yep.
stuck to the evoker, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool if you're able to play a dragon warrior. I'm just concerned. I guess you being more of a PvPer with say like a class like warrior or mage that gets like a caster that gets hover, so now they can cast while they're moving. How do you think
Oh,
that would
dude. Yeah.
negatively impact the game?
Yeah, I don't think classes like warriors should have it because with Drakfear you have it's like three or four different racials. You have a knockback, you got a knock up, you got, hover. So like there's already been a lot of complaints about the amount of mobility like your melee classes already have. Like right now warriors have two times the charge, heroic leap, intervene, you got blade storm that gets out of roots and slows, you got avatar that gets out of roots and slows. So it's like there's definitely, I think, only certain classes that should have it. Maybe like, a shaman or a warlock who doesn't already have 30 different mobilities. But if you give it mobility abilities, but if you give it to a class like a warrior or a mage or like a DK, I think it's gonna be so overpowered, and it's like you're gonna go back to how World of Warcraft used to be, where like if you were playing a horde, if you weren't an orc, you were wrong, or if you were alliance and you weren't playing human, you were wrong. So I hope that they kind of learn from that and really consider the what classes would go best with the Drakthir race. I also wanted to
Yeah, that's gonna
mention.
be.
Oop, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's gonna be interesting to see what they decide to do. I did want to kind of ask, especially with the War Within coming out. Um, so it does seem like the leveling, you kind of you're going to be able to choose just one zone or one chromie time aspect to level up to 70, and then from 70 to 80 you level in the new zone.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see what your thoughts are. Do you think it would be better to just start at 70 versus having to level up to 70 in a random zone? It just kind of seems like the whole leveling aspect of the game, the leveling experience is just basically pointless now. Everyone just
Yeah.
rushes
I,
to
I,
get to max level, and then you start playing the game then.
Yeah, but I think if you take the leveling out of it, you take away the MMO aspect out of it. Like, I think the introduction of MOP Remix was probably one of the smartest decisions that Blizzard has ever done with the game, especially recently. You were able to level up from 10 to 70. I mean, because you had this cloak, this Time Walker cloak that had XP bonuses and stuff like that, but you were able to level up from 10 to 70. I think my quickest time was like an hour and a half. I think like that's long enough. I mean, I'm sure you remember this back in the day. It used to take days to get to max level, and a lot of games now, especially your more popular games, are a plug and play model where it's like you just load up the game, boom, you're in. Unfortunately, WoW is an MMO, and I think if you take away the leveling aspect from it. I mean, 1 to 7. I mean, I could understand maybe starting at 70. That way, you still have to level up, 70 to 80, but you learn a lot about your class. You learn a lot about the lore within the game between those levels, and it's like you kind of become a little more attached with your character. If you have to spend, a couple hours leveling up, I feel like you're more attached to that character rather than if it's just like bam, boom, you're already level 70. So, I mean, I think that they shouldn't, they have their boosts that you can buy, which I mean, if you have the money, go for it. And if you've already been playing the game for a long time, you know all the abilities, and yeah, boost one. But I think that they should at least just speed up the leveling. Don't get rid of it. Don't get rid of the 1 to 70, but just make it a lot faster than what it is.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, the game has gone more of a type of you just log in and play the game now with Group Finder and Mythic Dungeons. Everything is it's kind of lost some of the luster of the MMO. You don't necessarily need to be in a guild anymore to do any group content. You can just
Well,
log
now,
in,
dude, now with
queuing
everything,
for.
you can join guilds cross faction,
Yeah,
cross server.
yeah. And they're adding more single player stuff. I think it's called a delve, where it's
Yeah,
like single
yep.
player dungeon missions,
Yeah, it's
and
it's kind of like the follower dungeons right now.
kind of, except this is going to give you hero tier gear.
Yeah.
So you could basically level up just by yourself, and you have enough gear to be able to do some of the end level content, whether it's heroic raids, whatever you want to do. But I think they're leaning more and more towards this single player mode of the game and less of the MMO
No, yeah,
aspect
yeah,
of
they
it.
they definitely are too. And I mean, they introduced solo shuffle, and as a person who majority of my time played is spent PvPing, I wholeheartedly think that solo shuffle uh ruined. I don't want to say ruined, but kind of it took away from the fun of having to meet players in game. I mean, there's guilds that have been around a long time, and a lot of these guilds, dude, they do like in-person meetups. They go to BlizzCons together, and it's like with them doing this, it like it's taken that, like you said, that MMO, that social aspect out of it, and making it more of a single player, like giving you the ability to play, which I guess isn't a bad thing, because considering their player base is probably, their age averages between, I'd say, like 25 to 35. So a lot of us work full-time jobs, and we can't spend the 5 6 hours a day grinding the gear. We would like to just be able to hop in and play.
Yeah.
But I feel like I
It
just feel like there's a way to do it without taking away that social aspect of the game.
yeah, because like you said, I mean, some of my best friends that I've met, I met through the game. I've had a bunch of people that I've met in person, some people that I haven't ever met in person, and I can still just kind of talk to them. Like, again, like you, like me and you, we've known each other forever, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like I have people that I met through World of Warcraft that it's like I can kind of talk to them the exact same way that we talk.
I thought you were
And
about to say that they're as good of a friend as I am. I'll say, don't say it, don't say it, don't you
no,
say it.
but yeah, but it's weird. Like now, I log on and I queue up for a couple things, and then I log off, and I can go 4 or 5 hours playing the game without talking to a single person, or without playing with the same group of people,
Yeah.
just queuing up and logging off.
Well, I think LFG kind of has been a big problem. I know there's a lot in the WoW community. LFG is kind of ruined it, because it's like, unless you're the top tier DPS spec or healer spec or whatever, if unless you're this rating, they don't want to play with you. I miss the days of, like, again, back in PvP. It's like you made a team, so it's like you stuck with the same 2 3 people to play with, and now it's just like you're just bouncing around, and you just don't really get that aspect, the social aspect of it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
And speaking of, really good communities, I wanted to talk about a game called Mordhau, which is a medieval combat game. Their community, according to PCGamer.com, their community actually raised a couple $1,000 for a fellow player's medical bill who's fighting cancer.
Yeah, no, that's super cool to see. Like when you see communities like this kind of come together, and I think we kind of touched on this last time around. I think gaming is such a big part of people's lives. Like I know me, I've been gaming forever, and I will probably be playing games until I die, and that's just the fact. I love playing video games, and I will always have video games in my life. And you see it time and time again where these people are just so en- embedded into whatever community it is that they're playing. And I guess this game itself, they do these type of fundraisers pretty regularly. Like once a year they hold this humongous tournament. Well, humongous for them, but this big tournament where they just all do a one v ones, and basically going to see who the best boxer, because it's like a fist fighting game.
Yeah,
It actually looks pretty interesting, and the developer saw what they were doing and what they were raising money for, and he actually upped the in-game prizes that the players would get. And there was a quote that he had that I thought was pretty cool. He kind of said, "What we've shown is that Mordhau's heart is larger than its toxicity. In our small community, the same people who trash talk and troll you in chat could be the same people donating for your cancer treatment tomorrow," which I think is
pretty deep.
pretty
Yeah.
freaking cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you kind of talked on, like the gaming community really kind of is one big family. I know when I was overseas in South Korea, I kind of, again, big World of Warcraft player back then. Gaming has just become more than just a hobby. It's like, for a lot of us, it's a way of escaping our everyday lives and what's going on. Just to be able to hop into these games for an hour a day or hour or two a day, I think is extremely therapeutic and similar to you, man. I mean, 'cause I've been gaming since I was like 14 or no, hell, dude, probably like I said, like James Bond. I can't remember the year that came out. I think I was like 9. But but like I've met some really awesome people over the last 15 to 20 years, and it's like some of them I still talk to today, and it's like even some of them like I haven't talked to in a while. Like I could easily just shoot them a message on Discord or Facebook, or heck, half of them I have their phone numbers. I can shoot them a text, and it's like, and you can pick up where we left off at. And it's like, and you've never met the person. It's just it's very heartwarming to see uh, companies like that and communities like that almost like building each other up. And that's just one instance, and I'm guaranteeing there's probably hundreds of thousands of unreported and undocumented instances of gaming communities banding together to help a member within it. I just wanted to really quick give some notable mentions of gaming companies actually doing things for its player base, or making memorials within its players for games. So there's a gaming studio called Cryptic Studios. They raised almost $60,000 in donations for the Breast Cancer Foundation when they released Star Trek Online. World of Warcraft put an in-game memorial for an extremely popular streamer by the name of Wreckful, who sadly committed suicide due to online bullying and harassment, and they named a NPC after him. So it's really nice to see these gaming companies actually care, about the people that support their games and everything.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see, and there's a lot of video game companies that do this, and that just kind of goes to show you how great gaming can be. I mean, you have organizations like GDQ that do big events that kind of. So GDQ is a speedrunning event, and they have summer games done quick and then awesome games done quick. So they have two different events, and it's all revolved around speedrunning. And the whole concept of it is just to get donations to donate to whether it's Doctors Without Borders or
Yeah, do like a lot of
cancer
like St.
cancer
Jude's for
research.
children and stuff too, right? I think I've seen quite a
Yeah,
bit of that stuff too.
and they get like hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, each time they do these events. And again, it's one of those things that goes to show how close knit the community is, and people are willing to go in for a good cause. And I think the Wreckful thing is great because you saw it wasn't just Wreckful, like you had Robin Williams as well, where they put a memoriam for him as well. Game developers have done this for a long time, and they'll continue to do it. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and it really, I'm happy to very happy to like purchase the games of those developers and companies that do stuff like that. Um, so kind of wanted to get into some new and upcoming releases. I know that you had made mention of this last week, and it's a game that you cannot stop talking to me about. And keep telling me I need to pre-order, I need to purchase it. Black Myth Wukong is coming out August 20th, 3 days. How excited are you for that game?
I'm pretty excited. I purchased the deluxe edition, so
Of
I
course you
am
did.
I'm going to be playing it Monday. Uh, Again, I've been hearing about this game for a year, and you see some of the it's going to be the first game I play that's in Unreal 5, and the graphics look incredible. Some of the gameplay I've seen looks insane. The combat looks exciting. I just can't wait. Like whether it's a Souls like or a boss rush, it doesn't matter. It just looks exciting. It looks fun, and
Well,
I
you
can't.
already talking about that. They're already talking about it possibly being the game of the year, right?
Yeah, it's tough. Like this year has been pretty crazy for games. I mean, so far, like the game that I've enjoyed the most that's come out this year is Balatro, and that's just a Souls like or a rogue like card game. Um, then you had the Elden Ring DLC, which was incredible. Black Myth Wukong, which has been insane. Prince of Persia, which has been pretty fun. And then you still have other games coming out. You have Dragon's Age coming out in October. There's this year's been crazy.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about the DLC for Elden Ring, and I'm not gonna lie, I played it for about 10 minutes and I gave up because of how hard it was. I was like,
Yeah,
um,
it was it's pretty tough. I guess I got a little bit farther the second time I played it, played the DLC. And again, a lot of it is you just having to go out and find certain things to make the game easier for you. And that's one of those things when I first played it, I really didn't know. I thought I was over leveled and I was going to be fine for the bosses without having to go out and do other stuff.
okay,
And
okay, yeah, okay. But what's funny? It's so funny you say that too, because I think I was talking to you about this with the tree sentinel. As soon as you start out, I'm like, why can I not kill this boss? It's like right here. It's like you feel like you should be able to do it. And I had no idea about like really having to go out and like level everything up.
yeah, and that's one of those like bosses that per the developer is supposed to be basically impossible for someone to beat that early into the game because it really is super difficult to beat him without your
Yeah.
horse. Once you get your horse, it's just night and day. Like it's so easy to go through and beat him. Well, a lot of the bosses before you have your horse are fairly difficult to beat, but once you have your horse, it just changes the way the game is played.
Yeah, it's funny. I had no idea of how even to get the horse. I had to look up reviews online. I'm like, how to even do this? But I will say, like, once I got more into it, like the game just became fantastic. And I'm
It's fun, and
actually,
and like kind of like we mentioned last week, I think games that are difficult are super rewarding. You get
well, they make you want to
to
keep coming back to play them. You want to beat that boss. You want to
yeah,
progress.
it's a sense of accomplishment where it's like you beat this boss that you've been stuck on for forever. Like I know when I first beat Millennia, it, again I was stuck on her for I felt like months until I was like finally able to beat her, and I'm just so happy.
It's it's funny you say that too, man. Because I remember sending you texts while playing Elden Ring, and I'm like, dude, I've died to this boss 15 times, and it's like I'm sitting here scrolling through TikTok where people got death counters and they're at like 900 deaths, and I'm over here freaking out over dying 10, 11 times to the same boss, but you got people dying hundreds of thousands of times to the same boss before they finally beat it.
Yeah, it teaches you perseverance, and I think it's super important
Yeah.
to just be able to just grind through it. And
Life lessons
yeah,
from a video game. Never give up. Keep going.
yep, that's the name of the game when it comes to Souls like games.
So another game. Again, I've talked about this game 100 times, and I will continue talking about it because it is one of my favorites. World of Warcraft Early Access is coming next week, August 22nd. If you have pre-ordered the hero, I think, or the highest tier, I think, what, epic or heroic, you get early access. The game itself comes out August 26th, but if you bought the highest tier, you have early access to it on August 22nd. So I said those are two that I'm really looking forward to coming on. Like I said, I know you were really hype about Black Myth, so I'm gonna have to hit the pre-order on that. I was also going through Steam today and saw a few games that are on sale that I think you guys should check out. Far Cry, the whole franchise, they're doing a franchise sale on Steam. They're varying from each one is varying from 50 to 85% off. On top of Need for Speed franchise sale, all the games are up to 90% off as well on Steam. I wasn't sure if any games you saw on Steam or anything like that, Steve, you recommend.
No, I mean right now, like you said, the biggest game I have on my radar is Black Myth Wukong. I've been playing a lot of Balatro. I think it's one of those games. It's $15, I believe. It's just so addicting and so fun. And you can, if you have a Steam Deck, you can play it on your Steam Deck. I've spent hours playing it on my Steam Deck in bed, getting ready to go to bed, and I'm just sitting there just playing Balatro.
Yeah. Well, I know, like with Black Myth, I feel like next week we're going to be talking about that game quite a bit. I know we're going to have a lot of information on that. So, you got anything else for today's episode, Steve?
No, that's it.
Well, that's it for today's episode of No BS, you guys. If you enjoyed our unfiltered conversations, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. at No Podcast GG, and don't forget to connect with us on X at No Podcast GG for all the latest updates and more. We appreciate you listening, and we'll be back the same time next week with more straight talk, no BS.